Okay, I'm back with another video here. We had some pretty bullish action in the market today. It looks like EV stocks benefited quite a bit, and I'm seeing some pot stocks that moved. So looks like blockchain, crypto-related stocks moved pretty good. Some of the biggest losers were Genius Brands, TAOP, I don't remember what that one is. BB, almost 10% drop. Oh, that's BlackBerry. So anyway, let's go up to the top here. Top gainers, ChargePoint, electric vehicle charging solutions. This thing had a huge move up and then consolidation and then a big pullback. So I was just looking at this a minute ago with some Fibonacci numbers. This is kind of interesting. And I don't use Fibonacci all that often, but it can help you find places where a stock could find some support. So we start from the top here, click and drag all the way to the bottom of this breakout. And these are our levels, or these are retracement levels where price could react, try to bounce. Looks like we tried to hold this level at one point. And the last one before we go back down to zero is the 23.6 level. And looks like we bounced from there. We reacted right here, and now we bounced here. So this is still pretty risky because we're underneath a downtrending red Ichimoku cloud here. We've got some resistance to deal with, some downtrending resistance to deal with. So this is pretty speculative trading. We could use basically this low as a stop, but this is pretty far moved from this low already. So what I like to do is, well, let's look at the 4-hour chart. See, so we've got our resistance right here on the 4-hour chart with the red cloud, and on the daily chart that shows up as the okay, 7 o'clock. My charts are going to fizzle out for a minute here. Schwab does this at 7 o'clock. They do some kind of reset. There we go. Okay, the cloud's represented by the Kijunsen line on the daily chart. And it shows up as a cloud on the 4-hour chart. Kind of in the same place here. So we've got this cloud to deal with. So we're going to need to see some follow through because technically if we draw a line here, we've just kind of broken out of this this trend line, this down line right here. And we do have a pretty big bullish candle here today. So let's say you want to trade this. You want to get into this trade, or maybe you got in today. I'd look at a 30-minute chart. So we're already pretty well above the cloud. And I would look, if you're going to trade this pullback and you want to make sure you lock in some profits and minimize your downside risk, I would make sure that price stays above the cloud on a 30-minute chart. So we've had some pullbacks before. We could look at right back here. Price stays above the cloud on a 30-minute chart. That was that big gap up that started this whole thing. That's a pretty steep. So here's a pullback. This is the last pullback we had here. The cloud was shaped differently here. Now we've had kind of this double bottom thing here. See this? Right at our Fibonacci level. And that was a huge gap down. Then we race back up here. We got a TK cross, Tinkinson lines in blue on this chart. TK cross. So you could trade a TK cross on this. And the first sign of momentum, the trade fizzling out, would be when these two moving average lines cross. So first you would see price fall below the blue Tinkinson line, and then likely fall below the Kijinson, then the average lines would cross, and then we definitely wouldn't want to see it go below the cloud. So I actually did open up a couple swing trades today, and I'm going to trade it this way. I'm going to look at a 30-minute chart and just trade a pullback. I had some short positions in the EV stocks, and I closed those yesterday because it looked like we were getting a reversal. And so then I took some long positions. GTBIF, Green Thumb Industries. That's a 30-minute. See, on the 30-minute here, we're not even above the cloud yet. We're way oversold down here. So this jump up, this is pretty strong. And the way this cloud is shaped here, if we have more bullish action tomorrow, it's going to get through pretty easily. 4-hour chart, we've got a lot of resistance up there still. See how oversold this was? This is just way oversold. Let's look at a daily chart. Yeah, it was a pretty big gap down right there. This is a bullish engulfing candle though. This green candle is bigger than any other candle I see here, except for maybe that bearish engulfing candle there. I'd say this one's a little bit bigger. So that's kind of encouraging. It's interesting, but we are still below the cloud, and we've got this Tinkinson line coming right down top of the price here. Let's check out, well, that was a COVID crash. Let's see what the Fibonacci numbers say here. I think this is still, I'm not sure where I'd put it. I don't want to put it at the bottom of the COVID crash. Maybe right here. We came out of COVID back where we were. Then this rally started. So let's see if we're at a Fibonacci level here that's worth looking at. Okay, well, we got a level right here. We've reacted there right here too. This is a support level. Got a little flat spot here, and we got these big pins right here. It reacted at this level, and now we've reacted there again. It's a 50% retracement level, 50% Fibonacci retracement level. So let's say you want to take this trade, you think this is the bottom. I would probably have to base the trade off of this 50% level here. This may come down tomorrow a little bit and then try to escape this downtrending Tinkinson. So we really don't know what price is going to do, but if you want to get a good position on a trade, these are all things to consider. So let's go to the next one here. Okay, I took a trade on this today. I've been kind of bearish on this, but out of all the clean energy stocks, the EV related stocks, I know it's a fuel additive stock, but they kind of been trading with each other in sympathy, I guess. But so this thing never really did do a full breakdown below the cloud. It's just kind of been hanging out here. And then we started to break below the cloud, and boom, now we're back up inside, and we're above the Tinkinson and Kijinson lines here. So I think this stock is kind of interesting, and I went ahead and I took a long position on this today. Speculative. We've broken into the cloud here. We kind of got this little triple top here on a 4-hour chart. So we're going to need to see some follow through. 30-minute chart, we have broken out of the cloud. Pretty solid on the 30-minute chart here. So this may pull back some. We're going to look for it to hopefully hold the Kijinson line here. That's a pretty volatile straight up move. So Hopefully this doesn't come to bite me. So yeah, I kind of got the feeling yesterday we were going to have a reversal just from the price action, and then today we just had these huge moves of some of these EV stocks. So Clean's Peak Incorporated, that's the 30-minute chart. We're broken above the cloud on the 30-minute chart. This is the last pullback. So yeah, you can trade these pullbacks very carefully. You just look for your, right here we had the TK cross, we fell into the cloud, and then oh my goodness, we had this big gap down after hours here. That is some risky stuff there, huh? Let's look at a daily chart here. Yeah, see, we've still got some downtrending resistance. Trying to find support in this area right here. Looks like it's kind of close with this. See this peak here, little consolidation here, wick, bounce here. So yeah, it's tempting to do some buying when you see price action like this. We just have to be careful. And I'm going to be watching these pretty close on the 30-minute chart. Typically, I just check my charts once a day because I'm busy with work and stuff. So, okay, fuel cell. I took a trade on this. We've broken above the Tinkinson line right here. That's the first, one of the first indications of a pullback is breaking above this Tinkinson line. Okay, and then we've got some other resistance, downtrending resistance from the Kijans in here. If this proceeds like I estimate, we're going to get a TK cross. We're going to push up here and test the cloud. I could use my entry as a stop loss and see how far this can go. Basically, I'm going to monitor this trade daily, monitor the health of it, and I'm going to keep an eye out for a TK cross on the 30-minute chart or a breach of the cloud. So technically, as of right now, we can have this double bottom here on the 30-minute chart. Technically, as of right now, this is just another pullback in a downtrend. Okay. Very risky to get in here. I had just drawn this line, I think yesterday. I pointed out this support level we had here. We got this peak, this consolidation right here, another pin right here, and now we're trying to bounce from here. Let's see if this matches up with the Fibonacci level. Fibonacci retrace. See, I got Fibonacci arc, retrace, or fan, and I don't use the arc or the fan. I'd have to research what those even mean, how to read them. They're there for a reason, but okay, we don't really have a match for a Fibonacci level here unless oops, that's not what I want. And that's basically where I put the line, is the beginning of the rally here. So yeah, just a support area. So you could, if you want to try to go long on this for a long-term hold and just use this support area as your stop loss, you could do that. If you just want to get a swing trade, momentum swing trade out of it, then I like to come down to the 30-minute chart. Right now we have some momentum going on. We're staying right with this Tinkinson line. Going to look for follow through tomorrow and ultimately stay above the cloud and watch for these moving averages if they cross, because that's usually the first indication when these things cross. Right here we had a TK cross right here, pretty steep downtrend, up and then back down. So this trade here, you wouldn't really got much of anything using TK cross. You you would have probably stopped out with a little bit of a loss because you wouldn't have got in right away. We were already pretty well above the cloud here, so I don't really set I don't set stop losses on these. Some people would say that's a bad move. I just monitor the health of the trade daily because I'm not concerned about intraday action, just what one candlestick did for a 30-minute period. I'm concerned about what it does on a daily basis. MARA, Marathon Holdings. This thing's been in rally mode here. Okay, I drew this resistance area here, which it's not really that well done. Needs to be a little higher. Yeah, we're testing the previous resistance right now, but we did react to the cloud here, and we got a couple good candles, so it looks like the uptrend is intact with this. All right, here's another long trade I took today. I've read some comments about this stock. A lot of people really like this, and I've been watching this consolidation base here. It comes down, it tests this area, and it seems to be holding it, but I see this downtrending pressure here, and I'm thinking this is going to fail, and then there's no really very good support. Maybe right in here we'll have some support, $15. So I really was thinking this is going to fail. We got kind of a head and shoulders top thing here going. But it's holding this level. So I took this trade, and this level right here is going to be the rule for my trade. I'm looking to get a momentum trade up here to our downtrending resistance, or see how that goes by the time we get there. So just like the others, I'm going to be watching this 30-minute chart. I don't want to see price fall below the cloud on the 30-minute chart in this trade. Once we get above, if we can get back above the cloud on a daily chart, then I would manage the trade a little different and just look to stay above the cloud on a daily chart and get myself into a longer term position. Right now we're below the cloud, so really we should just be looking for opportunities to sell, or just wait for it to get back above the cloud to buy. Snapchat, this has all kinds of stuff going on. We put in this triple top. We've got this kind of downtrending line going on here that I drew, and then we've got this support area right here. This is pretty decent support. We've been here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a cluster of candles here. So this is kind of an interesting support area. This thing's had a pretty big rally since COVID. But I'm not in this, but it looks a little bit interesting. So I'm seeing some of these that have bounced from these support areas and Fibonacci levels. So I'm kind of asking myself, is this the market bottom for these stocks? And then I read a news headline this morning that that the economy is recovering in China, and they may even pull ahead of our economy. And I think the market would like that because they came down with COVID first, and we're going to be hot on their heels, hopefully, with a recovery. And the market always looks forward. They're always forward looking. So if a recovery is coming in 6, 9 months, a year, they start pricing it in already. They want to, investors want to get ahead of it. Okay, Plug Power. I did not get on this one, but same with the other trades. You could play a swing trade as long as you stay above the chart on the 30 or cloud on the 30-minute chart. Pretty oversold here. We did make a new low. Some of these did not make a new low, like Tesla. We'll get to that in a minute. So see, this is the first signal of a pullback. We've gotten above the Tinkinson line on the daily chart. This is kind of a funny candle here. Got a little red doji candle. So I'm not quite sure what to think of that. 4-hour chart. So we're definitely still in a downtrend. Trade these things carefully if you're going to do it. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla did not make a new low yet. But we haven't made a new high yet either in this downtrend mess. So we're still making lower highs, but we did not make a lower low. But we've come up into the cloud. This is a 4-hour chart. Come up into the cloud on the 4-hour chart. So that's kind of encouraging for a pullback here. We're above the Tinkinson on the daily chart. If you want to try to get in a swing trade on this, I'd look for it to stay above the Tinkinson on a daily chart. Another couple candles, this is going to start curving up. And we're going to look for price to be supported by this Tinkinson line as it starts moving up. Like we saw back here, see? You want to see price supported by the Tinkinson line. Of course, here we fell below, we got right back up on top, and then ultimately we had the TK cross here. And this is pretty much where the rally collapsed. Once we got this TK cross and price fell below the Tinkinson, then we sold off pretty hard here. So trading the TK cross can be a pretty good trading system. We got the Kijinsen here. If this curves up, we get another TK cross. The cloud is pretty thin right here. Might be pretty easy for price to get through that cloud. One thing that concerns me about Tesla is it's just had such a huge run, and this trend line really doesn't make sense to me. I think it's just too steep. So I'm pretty skeptical about this. I'm not in Tesla yet, but I think as far as the electric vehicle stocks, this is best of breed, but I also think it's just way overvalued, way overdone. Of course, a lot of them were up 500,000%, and so these trades are really risky. SKLZ, this candle means nothing. We're just way oversold here. PTON, and we've gotten above the Tinkinson here, but this chart's still kind of a mess. BNGO, we'd fallen below the cloud, and now today's candle, we're testing the bottom of the cloud right here. We got our downtrending Kijinsen. So this needs to put on another bullish move tomorrow. If we can see this above this Kijinsen line right here, up here in this cloud, that could be encouraging for this stock. So we're counting on some follow through here. Hopefully with this news about China, market sentiment and risk appetite is going to see a rotation here. NEO actually took a long trade on this. I had been short. I've shorted this a couple times. Took some profits the first time on this reversal candle, and then got in again when we started failing up here at this downtrending Kijinsen. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to go up here and we're going to test this again. Keep an eye on this trade with the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the last pullback on a 30-minute chart. Here's the last pullback on a 30-minute chart. So the cloud looks different. This is a really steep red cloud here. We've gotten way oversold. So we weren't quite as oversold here. We're still pretty close to the cloud. So this move is still kind of in its infancy compared to this move. See how far this one had to move before it got above the cloud from the bottom here? We don't have as far to go on this one. So we'll see what kind of move we can get out of this. So this is very speculative, kind of bottom fishing trading here. Let's see, I drew a bunch of support levels. Some of these can be redrawn. We got kind of one here. These are very kind of weak support levels compared to something like this. So that's why I didn't draw them. And then we could run Fibonacci on this as well. Let's do that real quick. Let me get rid of these. Oops. Alright, let's see what Fibonacci tells us about this chart. Fibonacci retrace from the very top to the beginning of the rally down here. And we could bring it all the way down to this low. I'm bringing it to this low right here. I mean, we could go to the COVID crash here, but that does give us the 50% retracement level right here. So there's different ways of drawing this. We kind of had this double bottom thing here, not including the. Actually, that's not even the. That wasn't even the COVID crash here. This was a different low. This was the COVID crash in here. That's interesting. This doesn't have the kind of sell-off that some of the others did. So yeah, this kind of double bottom here, or this V-shaped recovery with a double support area. So yeah, we're right here at this 50% retracement level. You might want to, if you want to go long on this, longer term position, use this area as your stop loss. Alright. Let's look at a couple more. We're almost at 30 minutes here, so. Let's look at some of the crypto related. These are still trying to hold their uptrend. This is looking interesting. We're trying to get back above this Tinkinson line here, and we're holding the top of the cloud. This acts like it wants to continue its uptrend. We have the 200 moving average coming in here. This is kind of a pretty bullish candle, but it was lower than these red ones, so we had a pretty big down move, but we finished higher than the previous day, so the candle's green, but it's still kind of a downtrending candle here. Tilray, still, this chart still looks kind of bearish to me. We didn't get above the Tinkinson. We kind of did this doji candle, spinning top, whatever you want to call it. So I closed my short position on this too, because I feel like bullish sentiment's coming back into the market for some of these momentum stocks. And then DM, yeah, this didn't really get anywhere. These are some of the lower gainers. We're down to 2% gainers here. Workhorse didn't really get anywhere. BLOK. Well, this is a higher price stock, so the percentage is going to be smaller for at a $1.50 gain, but This actually looks kind of bullish. We got this kind of triple top going on here, so something to be mindful of. The 50-period moving average coming in here, and we reacted inside the cloud, and now we're staying above it. So basically, this could be considered a Kumo breakout. Well, we didn't come from below it, but we tested inside the cloud and then broke back out. So that's looking bullish for right now. So we got DraftKings. Yeah, DraftKings, I'd mentioned watching for a pullback in this stock back down here to this trend line, and we're reacting here for now. We've got some downtrending pressure up here to watch out for, so we want to see price get back above these. This thing had a pretty big run, got overextended here, so pretty far away from the cloud with this area here. Let's take a look at some of these top losers here. Genius Brands, they've kind of got this rising trend line that I drew here, and we'll see if that's going to continue to hold. I mentioned maybe trying a buy order about $1.85 to trade based off of this trend line. So to help minimize your downside risk, so that you're not buying up here, you know, thinking it's going to the moon. You want to, if you're gonna trade this, I'd try to trade down here on this trend line. It does seem to be topping out at $3, and these moves are getting smaller each time. We've only had 2 pushes up to $3. This was on news, and then we had this run here. I heard something about they were pumping this on Reddit, so that could have been what this move is about. Just need to be careful with this, and try to get in down here on this trend line if you want to trade it, so you can use that as a basis for your trade in a stop loss area. ZOM, I wish this thing would just hurry up and do something. I mean, either die or break out or something, because I'm still in this trade waiting to see if this support level is going to break. I feel at some point, I'd say the higher probability for this trade is that this is going to break. But I'm staying in the trade because it's still holding this support level. So the longer it holds this support level, the stronger it gets. And this is starting to come down pretty close to the price here. So we want to see what happens. We want to see if we can all of a sudden we get some bullish sentiment or maybe some news and we break above this Dickinson line out of the cloud. So you never know when some sort of news may come out, but so I'm just hanging in there on that one. One losing trade is not going to kill me. I've had a couple, but so what I do is I just I swing trade with a very small account, and then I have an investment account where the big money is, and those are all much safer S&P 500 stocks, and that account's been growing just fine. So this is just something I do for practice, and yeah, trading's a practice. I mean, I'm not a professional trader. I go to work every day. I don't have a lot of time to sit. I don't sit in front of a computer, but I enjoy analyzing these things and seeing what works. Test different things. So we got GameStop here. It's been kind of flat here. I kind of got a feeling that people are going to start pulling their money out of this winter. And they're going to want to start putting into some of these that have been laggers or burning off, kind of rotate into something else. So I think that's why this is down today, and a lot of those EV stocks and stuff are up. Take your profits out of here and put them into something that's been getting crushed. CVAT. It's a penny stock I was looking at this breakout. This looks like it's taking a dump. We got some kind of a support level here. The bottom, the flat bottom of this cloud is your support. So if you wanted to play with this, you want to watch this. Make sure we don't fall below the cloud here. Kodak, I haven't looked at this in a while. This is kind of a mess. I wouldn't mess with that. Maybe the bottom of this consolidation area. But we had this huge gap up. Burned off about 60–70% of it, looks like. And then we're just consolidating sideways. One thing interesting to point out is we're coming into this 200 moving average line. So if this stock is going to do something, this might be a good time for it to try to do it. But it just looks pretty dead to me. CTRM, this is not looking too good. Let's look at, so these are the ones I own right here, and something like this applied material. People ask, oh, what kind of technology stock should I get into? Well, I think it's a little bit late for this because you're basically buying at a 52-week high, and I don't like to do that. So I look for retests of this 50 moving average of the cloud. We're trending really nice with the Kijinsen line here. Came below it right here. So this stock's been pretty hot. Oh, here's one I've been in that's been doing a bunch of nothing, but we kind of got this consolidation area here. This kind of this floor that is building. So I got a little bit of a loss on this. It's not doing much, but I watched a video on YouTube about this this acquisition, basically competition for SpaceX, satellite launching company, and it just sounded interesting, so I got into that one. AMD, this could be an opportunity with AMD here. I'm not really sure what's going on, why it's had such a big pullback other than it had a big run. But we're kind of pulling back to this long-term rising trend line here. Granted, this trend is pretty steep. We went through this area of waves, and then all of a sudden we just broke out with this steep trend line here. So at some point, that steep of a trend line could eventually buckle, and we're testing it pretty good here right now. So I'm just holding this for my long-term holds, but this could be an area where it might pull back, and we've broken above the cloud on the 30-minute chart, but we did that here too. So could be an opportunity on the long-term trend line there. We'll have to see. Generac, this is my biggest winner, and I actually took profits on it because we've had this TK cross right here, and then I drew this downtrending line. But we had some pretty bullish action today, and now we've broken it back above that, and I want to see if we're going to get another TK cross. Maybe I'll get back in this, but the reason I took my profits on this is my biggest winner, and the trend just looks crazy steep here. So here's the COVID crash, and then we just had this parabolic move here. And as they say, nobody ever got hurt taking a profit, right? So I had over 200% profit in this in less than a year, and I just went ahead and took that off the table for now. Facebook I like. This just broke out of a consolidation wedge. Looking pretty good. We came back down. We tested it right here. We had this nice push up and a couple bearish candles. Pretty big move down here. Tested the top of this this wedge thing, and we bounced again. I like this on pullbacks. Of course, I'm not real crazy about paying almost $300 a share for it because I got in way down here at $1.50 or so. I saw this thing crashing, and it looked like we were putting in a bottom, and I just thought, wow, you know, Facebook at $150, you know. So that was one of the first ones I bought during the COVID crash. I like the stock, and 150 I think was dirt cheap. So Micron, this thing's been running pretty strong. Starting to show some weakness. We've had a TK cross, but looks like we're recovering from it. And we can get these little crosses in an uptrend. So when you're staying long in something like this, I like to at least make sure it stays above the cloud. But for really long-term buy and holds, I just draw channel lines, trend lines. So we got this long-term rising channel here, and we're kind of about midway in the channel. Nothing wrong with just holding on to this for, you know, 10 years or whatever you're doing. But we are getting a little extended here. So on a long-term basis, I like to see pullbacks down around the lower to midpoint of the channel. Apple's been looking overextended. This is one of the reasons it's been underperforming. Had the COVID crash and rally. That we got news about a split. Thing went parabolic, and kind of put in this little bit of a double top, we might say. And now it's just been pulling back, but we've got the 200 moving average coming in to try to support this price. And we've jumped above the Tinkinson here at today's move. So even though this is overextended, we could just go ahead and push on up here. It's a good company. So I'm seeing this as consolidation, and we've kind of got this this floor right in here. You could base it on these wicks, or so there's just kind of this floor in this consolidation area, and then the 200 average coming in. So this is looking a little bit interesting. Intuitive Surgical, this has had a nice pullback to the 200. Looks like we're reacting there. We're going to go up here and test the cloud. We're getting a TK cross right here. TK cross, price is supported by the Tinkinson line. Let's see what a long-term. Yeah, we got pretty straight up crazy out of the COVID crash here. A little bit of a pullback. Really nice uptrending stock here. So you're gonna hold something long. You gotta be prepared to ride some waves. I mean, these waves really don't mean much when you're holding something for 10 years, 15 years. Good patient investing. Don't go all crazy with it where you're going to get hurt if it goes against you. You just manage your risk. Scale into positions. You know, take little nibbles at it. So let's say you want 20 shares of something. Let's buy 2 or 3 today, and maybe 2 or 3 on a pullback somewhere, or long-term investment strategy. Just you kind of take it easy, you know, sleep well at night. Cintas, this has had some consolidation, a pullback. I really like this stock. They provide uniform service to restaurants and industrial places and whatnot. So good rally coming out of COVID. Then we've had some consolidation. So I've mentioned in some of my other videos that I think the market's going to start rotating into some of these underperformers, because like while Plug Power and Neo have been going up, you know, 800%, 1,000%, these things just kind of stalled out back here around December and have been kind of consolidating. And now we've got these 200 period moving average coming in, long-term rising trend lines. So I think for a safer investment strategy, some of these are good companies to consider. Boeing, this thing took a huge drop with COVID, just like a lot of other airlines, but I'm not in any airlines. This is my one transportation airline type play. I really wasn't interested in cruise ships or airlines yet. Those charts weren't even all that great even before the crash, in my opinion. So I like Boeing, but it's just been it's been slow to get things going. But we're trying to get back into this long-term channel here, which I have not done a very good job of drawing here. But so yeah, one time this was a $430 stock. So we're nibbling away, trying to get back up there, looks like. Costco, I recently recommended buying some more of this because we came down near this long-term rising trend line, and once again, it's a really great stock, good strong company. It's been underperforming while all these EV stocks have been going to the moon. This thing has been underperforming. Come down near this trend line, look at the reaction we're getting now. So this could come down some more because we got this cloud right here. Maybe we'll come down in here around 340 and then try again. This is a pretty straight up move, so I would hate to put on a new position here. I bought more of this, I think down in here, maybe I think I might have bought it somewhere down around in here based on the trend line. It's been a couple weeks ago, I think. Google's been in a really nice uptrend. If you got $2,000 to spend on one stock, or you can do fractional shares. All right, we're getting a little long here, almost 48 minutes, so that's it for tonight.